Fox 32 has information indicating the FBI has launched an investigation into controversial Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
Dane Placco has been following allegations of her misspending.
Breaking this morning, 3 lawsuits just announced against controversial suburban Mayor Tiffany Henyard. The plaintiffs, they are all former employees of Thornton Township and the village.
Top aide to Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard has been indicted for bankruptcy fraud. It comes amid ongoing questions about Henyard's spending and leadership.
And legal expert Henyard actually has 2 political jobs on 2 public payrolls as mayor of South Suburban Dolton, or as she calls herself, super mayor, and supervisor of Thornton Township, where she makes.
The fact that Henyard is being investigated is no longer news, and many people have come out to discuss how her misconduct has impacted them personally. The Board of Trustees at Dolton is one group that has never tried to disguise their distaste for the mayor. It appears that Tiffany has finally had enough of their behavior and is retaliating. After all, it was the village trustees who were once loyal to their mayor and brought Tiffany's unconventional financial practices to the law's attention, did everything in their power to expose the truth to the public. Carmen Peral called Tiffany a manipulator who took advantage of the hardworking residents of Dolton and displayed no regret for her actions.
WGN Investigates has learned South Suburban politician Tiffany Henyard has lost another key ally. Until recently, Henyard enjoyed near unanimous support on the Thornton Township Board, but now trustee Carmen Carlisle says after trusting Henyard and remaining silent, she will be a whistleblower against Henyard. Carlisle released a statement to WGN that reads in part, "For the past 2 years, Henyard has manipulated employees, vendors, and residents using her position to increase her influence, all while projecting a false image of success funded by the hardworking taxpayers of Thornton Township and the village of Dolton. Henyard shows no accountability or conscience for her actions against employees or taxpayers." Henyard has denied wrongdoing and claims her opponents are out for what she calls clickbait. Tomorrow at 9, tune in for exclusive new reporting on Henyard's spending that she tried to keep.
Although the controversy has been gaining momentum for some time, things have recently heated up significantly. The mayor and trustees' relationship is undoubtedly strained, but exposing the power struggle so openly and clearly was avoided until this specific meeting. Tiffany, even though the trustees had postponed the meeting took place on the scheduled date. As if that weren't enough, she also appointed a new administrator, which in the first place shouldn't be allowed with the board during the meeting, and in the second place, just adds fuel to the flames, especially because Dolton already has an administrator in place.
New village staff members tonight.
She did it at a meeting that she says trustees who oppose her tried to cancel. WGN's Jenna Barnes has more.
Well, one of those appointees is a new village administrator, even though there's already an administrator, a former Henyard ally, Keith Freeman, currently doing the job. This all happening at a meeting the Board of Trustees postponed until next week, a move that Henyard's lawyer says is illegal, so she went ahead with.
It's possible that Tiffany's attorney made a strong argument. Opposed to the delay,
the Open Meetings Act says, you know what you got to do to cancel one of these meetings? You got to give 10 days of notice. 10 days of notice to the public. Certainly notice to the mayor. You know what they did? They didn't give you any.
However, due to the appointment, it loses credibility due to both the nature of the appointment and the person who opted to position someone in a position of authority next to her.
Dolton tonight as Mayor Tiffany Henyard's latest hire is now under fire.
Fox 32 has learned that Dolton's new village administrator has had multiple brushes with the law and was fired from a high school for allegedly sexually harassing a 15-year-old girl.
Dane Placco has the latest chapter in this ongoing Dolton investigation.
My next appointment will be for village administrator.
Tuesday night, Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard appointed a new top aide to a $100,000 a year job, 34-year-old Michael A. Smith, who's been active in South Suburban politics for years.
The reason for Mike is he have a wealth of great information. He's a young person and ex-politician. He knows the laws like the back of his hand.
Although everyone believes that he should be in jail with Tiffany rather than in such a significant role, and that his background is very intriguing, this isn't the first. Louis Lacey, the chief of the criminal police department Tiffany had appointed, was reappointed after being fired due to allegations of bankruptcy fraud and lying.
Because Smith has been in and out of trouble with the law for years.
I'd like to thank the residents as well as the mayor.
Public reporting shows Smith has been charged at least 8 times with crimes ranging from domestic battery to official misconduct. In 2012, Smith, then a young trustee in Dixmoor, resigned after pleading guilty to theft when he allegedly stole gasoline by posing as a police officer. Then in 2018, Smith was working as an assistant dean at Thornton Fractional High School when he was fired for sexual harassment of a female student, grooming a student with lascivious intent, and inappropriate aggressive behavior towards a male student. According to his termination letter, Smith was accused of contacting a 15-year-old female student on Snapchat with inappropriate comments and making her his girlfriend. Then earlier this year, Smith was fired from the Echo School District for falsifying information on your employment application.
We have a constant pattern of her hiring people without doing a proper background.
The mayor attacks the trustees and says they are the reason why there was such a commotion after igniting the hornet's nest. Considering the current level of unrest in Dolton, to put it mildly, she made some audacious remarks to make her point.
You can call it that, was much less attended. We counted fewer than 20 people who showed up.
Just pay attention to who bring all the drama to your community. Where all the hecklers that's normally in the crowd, they're not here today. Where everybody that got something to say when everybody up here talking, giving their opinion. That's how you know everybody are plants in the audience.
And just last week in Thornton Township, Supervisor Tiffany Henyard couldn't hold a meeting because the trustees there didn't show up amid ongoing power struggles in both of the governments that Henyard runs. In Dolton, Jenna Barnes.
Of course, this is not the only contentious meeting held in Dolton. Attorney General Kwame R's office discovered that during the meetings in June and July, Dolton violated the Open Meetings Act. Residents complained about restricted seating, blocked entrances, and an unfriendly atmosphere. The only proof offered was a critical letter that was sent to Helena Henson's mother's residence. However, it did not contain any threats and arrived after the meetings.
Attorney General Kwame Raoul's office found Dolton violated the Open Meetings Act at its June and July meetings after complaints from residents that Henyard's administration limited seating, blocked the entrances to Village Hall with barriers, and created a hostile environment. The acting police chief at the time cited threats to Henyard's safety, including a letter mailed to Henyard's mom's house that was written in blue marker. It stated, "See you in prison. Your mother raised a loser. Your mother is a loser." The AG's office finding that the letter mailed from Rhode Island was the only evidence that the board provided in support of the manner in which it conducted the meetings in question. The letter was critical and insulting, but it did not implicitly or explicitly threaten violence. More importantly, the letter did not arrive until after the 2 meetings occurred.
A lot of people couldn't get into the Dolton municipal meeting, which left many upset outside Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Meetings have become quite a spectacle with citizens turning up early to talk. Public meetings are meant to be open to everyone who wishes to speak about the mayor of Dolton and the general state of the village. This is not how issues like unpaid bills and payroll are supposed to proceed.
Cheryl, only a fraction of the people who actually showed up to this meeting were able to get inside due to what the police chief said was some unspecified security threat. But the people who were left out here in the parking lot refused to go unheard.
Open the door! Ask Dolton residents, and many will say the bi-monthly municipal meetings run by Mayor Tiffany Henyard have become a regularly scheduled spectacle. The increasingly irate residents arrived plenty early for the first of the month meeting. Village residents clamored against the double doors tussling and then navigating a security screening for a highly coveted seat at a public meeting where items like unpaid bills and payroll were supposed to be the topics of discussion. Mayor Tiffany Henyard took her seat on the dais to preside over the...
Locals were told that any disturbances could cause the meeting to end, and those few who managed to enter after needless security and screening in order to voice their concerns about the issue at hand have not yet witnessed any real action taken against the dishonest mayor.
Outburst, if there are any clapping or anything that is, if we get another credible threat, the meeting will be closed.
People are frustrated. They want answers. They want transparency. This has to end.
I'm so disappointed in what's been happening in Dolton. Mayor, you need to step down because you have disgraced this village. You really.
Yardley had Stokely accepted some of her constituents' criticism and a handful's commendation.
It is under Mayor Henyard's tenure that I have felt the most connected and valued.
We need to come together and support her.
But before any actual village business could be discussed, the quorum of village leaders dissolved over disagreements in how the meeting was being run.
The Open Meetings Act requires that we have enough space for everybody to get in.
Leaving Mayor Tiffany Henyard to assail her colleagues.
Our job is to make sure we take care of the business and not allow the business to handle us.
She has been at odds with 4 of Dolton's trustees for months. They have asked for a federal investigation into her handling of village affairs. The trustees allege that for her own personal gain, Henyard has withheld business permits from vendors, Stonewall village leaders, and voters. Speaking of mismanagement, someone brought up the fact that Tiffany had deceived the trustees into passing laws previously. This refers to the law that states that if a person has an unmowed law, they will be fined $500 instead of $75. This speaks volumes about why the board took action against the mayor. It is likely that this has happened more than once, and someone will eventually grow sick of this blatant disregard for the citizens.
With Tiffany Henyard, they raised those fines from $75 to $500 if you did not mow your lawn, and they were trying to bring in revenue for the village. But I went back in time and I looked at the actual board meeting where they voted. She tricked the trustees into voting yes for it without having anything in front of them. She had the lawyer get involved and acted and convinced the trustees. The trustees asked, and she pointed out, quite just blankly said, it is just for the vacant homes. This has nothing, and she said word for word, this has nothing to do with the current residents, the people that live in Dolton. Has nothing to do with the people that live at 602 West 7th Street, okay, that occupy their home. This is for the vacant homes only. She convinced the trustees. They were hesitant, but this was back before all the major controversy. And so they decided to pass it because she said it would bring in revenue and that it was only for these vacant homes.
One of Tiffany's primary offenses is her misappropriation of Dolton funds. It has been reported that she has been using thousands of taxpayer dollars for personal expenses, such as luxury trips, the purchase of cars for herself, her mother, and even her boyfriend, and the construction of an ice rink that was neither wanted nor approved. She even boasted about the rink on social media, which was not the best course of action. Considering that she is deeply embroiled in legal issues, it's worth noting that the mayor has yet to exercise caution in light of the recent events. Old habits die loudly, especially if you're not interested in putting an end to them like Henyard, who continues to misuse authority despite facing legal and public scrutiny. The funds of the village?
Money. New at 4:30, more money troubles in South suburban Dolton. New welcome banners recently went up in that village.
But the company that created them says it has not been.
Even though the Board of Trustees appears to be thinking about the community's future and the welfare of its residents, it is regrettable that she did this again without their approval. Grim, the mayor's reckless actions seem to be beyond their control. Extravagance and corruption have taken hold, and the harm is too severe to be readily repaired. And this is before she has even vacated the mayor's office. Many doubt Dolton's ability to function independently.
Help. Trustee Tammy Brown says the banners were never approved by the village board.
They don't make any sense at all. They're all of the mayor. It's okay to have a banner that says welcome to Dolton, but you don't need to have the mayor's face posted throughout Sibley Boulevard.
Trustee Jason House in a statement told us it's deeply unfortunate that the administration has chosen to squander funds on self-promotion while our fire department has gone without a contract for 5 years. This blatant disregard is a slap in the face to the hardworking individuals and the creditors burdened by the millions of dollars of debt incurred by the mayor's reckless spending. Our community deserves better. NBC5 reached out to the Henyard administration for comment, but we didn't hear back.
Now that the world knows what she's doing, I'm hopeful that more people will get out of their comfort zone and come.
The mayor is doing all in her power to avoid her legal problems. In a desperate attempt to retain her as mayor, her defense lawyer is not only attempting to convince the public that she is innocent, but also to win them over.
Because Mayor Tiffany Henyard is not charged with any crimes. Mayor Tiffany Henyard has not committed any crimes. But I will tell you why it is when I have been engaged by the mayor. Mayor Henyard came to see me and asked to engage my office to represent her because Mayor Tiffany Henyard is under attack. Make no mistake about it, Mayor Henyard is under attack.
Okay, so the super mayor is under attack, but she is not guilty of any crime whatsoever, but she still hires a notorious criminal defense lawyer. Let me get that right. So he's trying to skirt past this issue, but you can't really get around it. Why did she hire a criminal defense attorney? Good question. Excellent question.
The people of Dolton, though, have no sympathy to spare because they are in a worse situation than her. And unlike Tiffany, they didn't dig up their own grave.
These people provided services to the village and they're not getting paid. When we talk about months, 9 months ago, 7 months ago, 6 months ago, people are not being paid. So if you're not paying the bills, then what are you paying? And these bills were approved by the board months ago. I just look at it as this, and you know, this is me saying this. If you're not paying the bills, then maybe you're making payroll. If you can't make payroll, then you'll pay the bills. So it's something here, the reason why we're not paying bills, because we gotta make payroll. Let's come to a point where it says, hey, the bag is empty, guys. The bag is empty. The 6.9 million been coming for 8 months, and it still hasn't gotten here yet. The bag is empty. When we can't pay $14,000, the bag is empty, guys. As she said before, and I would say, my granddad used to say, we're in a mighty bad way here. And when a person don't show you the money,
The situation is severe, and no one knows what the future holds. The next step is to arrest Heard, which may take time. That's it for now. That's a little too long. Please share your thoughts in the comments section below for future updates. Press the bell icon.